Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our expense code application. So we successfully did that work. So now in this video, I want to discuss about that salary system. So it will be very much interactive one of the modules. So step by step, I will show you. So for doing this, first of all, I want to add one of the menu in our sidebar area. So if you want to add any menu, what exactly you have to do? You have to go to that file location. So that is in our welcome plate, right? So that is in our view, into the view, that is our welcome plate. And into the welcome plate, after that all expense. So here I have already created that all expense. So after that all expense, I want to create another menu. I just simply copy it. And now here, after that, I just simply paste it. So as I told you before, they have some of the ID. So here we have to update this ID. So I just make the things as a 5, and also as a 5. Perfect. And then it will be as a salary. Okay, I just name it as a salary, and then here I just simply define as a add salary, and then I just simply define as a all salary. Okay friend, so right now there is a our link we have to put. So first of all, I want to define some of the link, in particular that area as a whatever you want. So right now I just simply define as a given salary. So I just simply define as a given and the salary. Okay, so that is the one of the component route we have to create. So right now, first of all, I want to do work with our components. So now go to our component section. I have already created the category, expense, the employee, the product. So right now for the salary, I want to create another folder. I just simply create another folder and I just name it as a salary. Okay, I have created one of the folder as a salary. And into the salary folder here, I want to create some of the file. Like I just open and click on the save as, and first of all, I just put that name as the index.view. And also for the create, I want to create another one. Click on the save as, and I just click as a create.view. There is another component, and also for the edit, we need another one. So I just simply click on the save as, and I just simply define as edit.view. Okay. So here right now I have created 3 of this. One is the create, edit, and the index.view. So now we have to create one of the migrations table, right? So right now I'm already run our PHP artisan serve, and also npm is running. So now I want to create one of the migration table, because for the salary we need one of the migration tables. So I just simply define as a cmd. In our project directory, I define as a PHP artisan make migration. And then I just simply define as a create. Okay, create underscore, and now I want to define as a salaries, and then table. Our table name will be create, and then table name I just simply define as a salaries. Okay, just name it as a salaries. So now if you click on the enter, now you can see our migration table is created. So now into the migrations table, we have to define some of the field for this one. So now go to our project directory and go to the database. So that is our database, into the migration, and that is our new migration file, that is our salaries, right? So for the salaries, first of all, I want to define one of the ID. So definitely there should be some of the ID, and the salary we need actually the employer, right? Because if you go to our database, I have already created one of the table as a employers table. So this salary will be given to this employer, right? So here for the reasons here I want to take another field. So I just better copy it, and here I just simply paste some of the field. Okay, here I just simply paste some of the field. So now first of all, I want to take another field for our employee ID, because in our employer I want to get that employer ID. For the reasons I just simply define one of the field as employer ID, employer underscore ID, and also I want to take another field for the amount, and then I want to take another field for the salary date. Okay, salary underscore date. And also I want to take as a salary month and the salary year, salary underscore month, and also salary year, salary underscore year. Okay friend, and also amount, I just make the things as a nullable. So here I want to put all that field as a nullable, so I just simply define as a null able. Okay friend, so I just simply define as a nullable for the amount. I also make that our salary date as a nullable, salary month will be nullable, and year I just simply define as a nullable. So right now we don't need this, I just simply remove it from here. Okay, so they have the all that field. So here I define our employer ID, amount, salary date, salary month, and the salary year. And also for the salary year, so I just make the things as a string. Okay, I just make the things as a string, and also that will be as a string, salary date is string, amount I just simply define as a string, and for the employer ID here I define as an integer. Okay, for the employer ID I just make the things as the integer, and then our string is string. Perfect. So now I just want to migrate it, so click on the save all, and now I want to migrate it, so I just simply define as a PHP artisan migrate. Now click on the enter, and now you can see our migration is successfully created. So now if you go to our database, and now if you refresh it, they have the new another table is added as a salaries, and into the salaries I have defined some of the field as a employer ID, amount, salary date, salary month, and the salary year. And also we need one of the controller. So right now I want to create another controller. So if you want to create it, you have to define as a PHP artisan make controller. And now I want to create one of the controller in our API folder. Into the API folder I name it as a salary controller. Okay, I just name it as a salary controller. So friends, before I have already discussed about how can create that resourceful controller and how can working with the resourceful controller, right? So now better in this video I want to show you how can working with the simple controller. So right now I don't want to create any resourceful controller. Here I want to create one of the plain controller. Okay, so I just simply define as a in our API it should be created one of the controller as a salary controller. So now just click on the enter, and you can see our controller created successfully. So now if you go to our project directory, that is our API, into the API I have created one of the controller. You can see I have created one of the plain controller for the reasons they have no method. So right now we will create our all that method as per our demand. And also here we don't need to use that model, because actually we are not using it. So here I don't want to create any model for this one. Okay, so now we have to create our link. So I have defined one of the given salary, right? So you have to define that things in our route. So if you want to define that route in our component, into the component resource there are also one of the router. Okay, that means these routes here I want to create some of the routes for our this one. So better I want to copy it. Okay, here I just simply copy it, I just simply paste it, I just name it as a salary. Okay, I just name it as a salary routers, and here I have to define that name. So I just simply define that name on here as a given salary. Okay, so better I just simply copy it. Right now we don't need this, I just simply remove it. Edit will be needed later. I remove everything from here. So now in our JS folder, that means in our routes, here I define one of the route for this one as a given salary, and here I just put that name as a salary. Okay, I just put that name as a salary, it will be as a given salary. So I just simply define that name will be given salary. And also I want to take another one. So here I want to take another one with the IDs, because here we have to actually pay this salary. So here for the reasons I want to define another one as a pay. So I just simply define as a pay and then salary. So I just simply define as a pay salary with a specific one of the ID, because here we have to actually give these salaries, after that we have to pay this salary, right? So we have to pay this salary with a specific one of the employer ID. So for the reasons here I have created two of this route, one is a given salary, another is a pay salary. So now we have to also update that part. So here I define that name will be as a pay salary, and also they have one of the ID. And now also here I want to change that name, it should be as a pay salary. Okay, I just name it as a pay salary. So now we have to define two of this route. So here better I need to do and to copy it, and after this I just simply paste it, it should be as a salary. So I just simply define as a salary, and then also here I have defined that part. So here I define as a salary, right? So I just simply define as a salary, and for the salary I have already created one of the folder. I have already created another folder as a salary. Into the salary folder, okay, into the salary folder, better I want to create another file. Okay, another file I want to create for our all employers, because first of all we have to actually get all that employers. So in our salary folder, I want to create new file, click on the save as, and I just name it as a all employee. Okay, all underscore employee. So I just name it as all employee dot view. So this type of one of the component I want to create, and now I want to add this in our this route area. That means in our component, in our salary folder, I want to define our this component as all underscore employee. Okay, all underscore employee dot view. Perfect. And also I have take another one. I have take another one for the pay salaries. Pay salary means here I want to insert it. That means here we have to work in our create. That means this create preview component. So I just simply define that name as a pay salary. So I just simply copy it. And after that, here I name it as a pay salary in our components. That is our salary folder. Into the salary folder, I have already created one of the component as a create. So I just name it as a create. Okay, create.view. So right now we don't need this. I just simply remove it. So first of all, I want to finish two of this. Okay. So now first of all, I want to work in our all employees. So all employee means you should be getting all the data from our all employees page. So I have already defined one of the page. You can see there's employee, there is a all employee. So first of all, I want to take all that employee details. So that is in our all employee index page, right? So I have already created that page. If you go to that employees, and there is our index view. So for now I just copy everything from here. I just copy everything, and in our all employees I just simply paste it. And better I want to make the things as a PHP. And here we don't need to add any delete employee, because from here I only want to view it. Okay, so right now we don't need this delete method. So I just simply select it, and here I just simply remove it. So I just simply delete our delete method, and then there is our method, and here there is our search system. Okay, so I have already discussed about that things with you. So right now also here from to this position I want to delete our this delete positions, that means a delete button. And here I want to define not the edit. Here I want to define as a pay salary, this type of one of the button I want to add. Okay, I just name it as a pay salary. And also that is our employer list. So that is our one of the button. So for the add button here I want to define actually different things. Right now it's okay with me. So now first of all I want to check it. So like if you now click on the save all, and if you now check it, everything is okay. So now if you go here, refresh your admin, and here you can see I have defined another menu as a salary. Into the salary I have already defined one of the add salary. So if you click on the add salary, yeah, you can see it's done perfectly redirected to our URL as a given salary. And also here getting all the data is getting all the data from our employees. So here perfectly it's not visible. So here there's only one button as a pay salary, the joining date. So right now we don't need this joining date also. So friend, from here I want to do that is actually our employee name, and that is our employee phone number, and that is the employee salary, right? So now I want to pay this salary to a specific one of these employee. So that is the things I want to do. For the reasons here, if you click on the pay now salary, it should be redirected to our another page. So here I have already defined one of the route. You can see for the reasons here I have already defined of the route as a pay salary. Into the pay salary it should be required as a component salary. It should be redirected to our create page, right? That means in our create component. So I have also defined that. So here you can see there is a pay salary with the specific one of the ID. So that is our pay salary. Perfect. So now I want to define that name. That means here if you go to our all employee, into the all employee I define one of the button will be as a pay salary. And now here I want to define that name. So name will be in our, here I define as a pay salary. So name will be this one. So I just simply copy it. And now here I simply define as a pay salary, and also I define as a param ID. So then it should be as a employer ID, and then our pay salary. Perfect. So now if you click on here, automatically it should be redirected to our which page? It should be redirected to our simply in our components, the salary and the create page, right? So now we have to work in our salary and the create. That means here we have to define some of the form for this one. So from to this component, I want to pay our salary to the employee. So for the reasons here I want to do, if you go to that our employee, so into the employee there is a edit view. So right now I just copy everything from here, and now in our salary into the create I just simply paste it. Okay, so now we will actually customize it as per our demand. So step by step everything will be very much clear to you friends, so don't worry about it. So now if you click on the save all, so if you now click on the save all, and here I have defined some of the URL. So if you now click on the refresh, and now like there is actually the Kazarian. Okay, so now if you click on the pay salary, now you can see it's automatically getting all that our data. That means here is specific this ID data, that is the one ID data, that is our Kazarian, and there is an email address is visible, that is our address is visible, and everything is now perfectly visible, right? So now if you go back, and here there is our another one, so that is our ID2. So if you click on the edit, you can see it's perfectly getting a specific 2ID all that employee data. So for the reasons here I have defined this part, right? I think you already well understand about it. So here you can say I define as a pay salary with a specific one of the ID. So right now I just copy everything from our employee edit. So into the employee edit I have already defined that part. For the reasons is perfectly getting all that specific ID. So now from here I want to insert some of the data. So here I need only that name, I need that email address, and here I want to define some of the month wise all that month name, and here I want to define that amount. Okay, so that's the 4 field will be needed. So right now we don't need the rest of this. So if you want to customize it, then you can do that work. So here you have to go to our create. That means in our create we have to now customize it as per our demand. Like here I want to define as a pay salary. So I just simply define as a pay salary. Okay, I just simply define as a pay salary employer, or only pay salary usually better. So I just simply define that name. And also here we don't need any NC type, because here I don't want to update any images. So I just simply remove it from to this position, and they have some of the methods, so I will do that things later. And then there were form group. Into the form group, first of all there is actually the name. Okay, so here there is a name is perfect, and also there is our email. So I also want to take that email field, and then here address. So here I want to display some of the drop down. That means here I want to display one of the option field, right? So for the option field, if you go to our product, into the product maybe create. So into the product create we have defined some of the option, like if you make the things as a PHP, and you can see for the product there is a product category. For the product category I have defined some of the field for this one. So that is one of the option and the selected field, right? So better I want to copy it. So I just copy that call MD6. So I just simply copy that call MD6, and now in our create, in our address, so here I want to change it. So that is our call MD6. I just simply paste it. Okay friend, so here I just simply paste it, because here I have to define all that our month wise details. So here I just name it. So I just name it as a month. I just name it as a month, and here that is our option value. So that is the option value. Here I want to define our option value in particular that area. And here that is our V model. So into the V model here I want to define our which field. If you go to our database, into the database I want to display our salary month. So I just simply copy that salary month, and here I want to define that as a form, and this form will be as a salary month. Okay, so I just simply define that salary month, and here there is our option, and they have some of the value. So that is our select form. Okay, so I just simply define our select form as it will be as a salary month, and into the option. So I want to change that option. So right now we don't need this. I just simply remove it, and then I just simply define our options. And into the option I want to define our option name as a January. And also better I want to copy it, because here I have to define all that our month name. So I just simply define that month name. So it will be as a January, and then the February, right? And then the March, and the April. Okay, I just name it as April, and the May, June, May, and the June, and then July. After that July, there is August, and then I just simply define as a September. Okay, I just name it as September, October, and then also we need a November and December. Okay, so I just simply use as a November and the December. And also here we have to define our all that value, that means the January value, so we have to also defining it. So if you want to do that work better, I want to select multiple at a time. Okay, so here I select multiple at a time, then it will be easy for me. So I just select everyone, and then here I define as a value. Okay, I just simply define as a value, and into this value position I have to pass all that our value, like that will be as a January. So I just simply paste it. That will be as a February, that will be as a March, that will be as April, and the May, and the June, that will be July, that will be as August, that will be as a September, October, November, and that December. Perfect. Okay friend, so here I have defined that field, so that will be as a month field. And after that, here better, if you want to display some of the validation, you can also define that validation. So after that, select here, I want to defining it, so I just simply defining it. So here it should be, I have defined the salary month, so it should be as a error salary month and the salary month. Okay, and then it should be as a salary. Okay, so here already they have the salary, so that is the salary. Also I need one that means I need this field, and they have another joining date and the NID, so we don't need this. So I just simply remove that from group, and also the phone number, I don't need this, I just simply remove it. And also there is a phone, and then after that there is the photo, so I also don't need this from group, I just simply remove that from group. Okay friend, because here as I told you before, I only want to take 4, so I just simply remove everything from here. And then our update, so here I just define one of the button as a pay now. Okay, I just name it as a pay now, one of the button. So now if you click on the save all, I just click on the save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now showing our name, email address, and that's all that our month, and that is our salary. So better I want to use some of the level. That means here I have already defined some of the labels. So for the label, I want to make the things as a bold, then it should be better. It should be actually looking great, perfect. Okay, so whatever you want, you can actually do that work. So now I want to copy it. And also for our salary, so here I want to define that as a salary. Okay, that means that will be as a level salary, and also that will be as email, and that will be for the name. So I just simply define that email, and that will be as a name, that means the employer name. Okay, so now I just click on the save all. Now if you refresh it again, yeah, you can see it's now looking perfect. So there is a name, there is an email, there is a month, and there is a salary. So friend, here we successfully design our salary page, that means the pay salary page. So now we have to insert it, right? So now we have to actually pay now their salary, a specific with which month you want to pay for a specific this employee. So if you want to pay this salary, how can do that work, how can insert that data better? I want to continue this process. In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.